Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Zero. Welcome. Today is the kickoff for our engagement season game plan. I'm so excited that you're watching this today and you're here. It is a pleasure to help other wedding professionals who, like me, in the past have struggled with getting bookings, attracting the clients that you would love to work with, and really just stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. So hopefully by the end of these 3 days, you'll be able to have a wonderful game plan, a nice plan of attack for this engagement season. Last Thursday, everything kicked off with lots of Thanksgiving engagements. I know that we already had a few inquiries just for elopements for one for next Thursday. But part of that is making sure that your marketing is in place and your messaging is out there and that you are establishing yourself within your own wedding community as an expert in an area. If that is something that you are finding you're kind of muddled in, don't worry about that because I'm going to help you over the next 3 days. And then at the end of the 3 days, you're going to have an opportunity to work with me and other wedding professionals to continue this if you would like some extra help. But there's no obligation. This event is free. Stick around for the 3 days. If you can't make all 3 days live, don't worry about it. We have recordings. So some of you are watching the replay right now. Hi. Make sure you hop into the Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group already, that's facebook.com/groups/book more celebrations VIPs. All right, and let's get started on some wonderful things. Before I do that, though, I want to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Lisa Zaro, and I live in the Hudson Valley area of New York. I started doing weddings back in 2009. I became an ordained minister. And then after that, I did my first wedding in 2010. That year, I did one wedding. One of these days, I'll get to the story of why I became ordained and all that jazz. But did one wedding my first year, and I loved it. And my wedding photographer, who happened to be the person who referred me for this first wedding, said I was a natural. And that just sparked something in me that I thought, wow, I could really do this. I was working miserably as a travel agency manager, absolutely hating it. I did not like it whatsoever. I couldn't wait to go home at the end of the day. I was overworked, burnt out, underpaid, but I knew that when I did this one ceremony for a couple that I was doing something that was going to change the trajectory of my life. So the next year, I booked, it was between 15 and 20 weddings. So I started getting the word out there, started networking, marketing, advertising, and grew the business that year after year. We were doing 50 weddings, 75, etc. Then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, a lot of people were impacted. I'm sure you were impacted as well. Worldwide pandemic, never seen anything like it. But we're still here because we had really good business practices in place that we survived the pandemic. We were able to tailor our services to what our clients needed at that time. We were able to pivot and get things on track. Now, when I say the word pivot, I always think of that Friends episode with it was Chandler and Rachel and Ross going up the stairs, pivot, pivot. And occasionally in my brain, we have to pivot again. We're in a place as officiants here in New York State where things are changing. In the past year, people have been able to do a 1-day license with a clerk's office and become a licensed officiant for one event. And that cut into our business dramatically last year. That was unexpected. That wasn't something that we had planned for. But that means going forward from that point, we had to change things up a bit so that we could reach more people that were still looking for professional officiants and those who weren't to start seeing the value of having a professional officiant. My husband and I also do photo booth experiences. So we have our hands in there, and I've done some photography too, but photo booth experiences and how we can stand out in the photo booth world here in the Hudson Valley and Northern New Jersey. And we're doing really well at that too, but didn't start that way. The first year, we only had a couple of bookings. So from the beginning to now, it's been a lot of changes. So as I walk you through things, I'll mention some things that we've been through. When I started officiating that first wedding, I did a phone meeting. at least one in-person meeting that lasted about 2 hours, the rehearsal, and the wedding itself and follow-ups. So I spent a lot of time and only charged a couple $150 US. Now, at that time, I was thinking, well, that's better than working at Walmart for 10 hours, right? It was a great experience. But from then, that first wedding in 2010 to now, that same package experience is more on the high end, and people are spending closer to $1,000 if they're going to get all that in the experience. And I have different levels of service, but for that particular package, it's around $950 to $1,100, depending on what they choose. So seeing my value, conveying my value, I'm able to charge that now because of the marketing in place, because of the business practices and the referrals and the reviews. And that's all about laying the foundation for your business so that it gets stronger over time. Out of the gate, this engagement season, you're going to walk out after 3 days with a plan of attack for the next few weeks. And then you're just going to keep on repeating that. You're going to adjust it every week and make sure that every week you have a game plan on what you need to focus on, what's done, what still needs doing, what you need to follow up on. And along the way, I'll be here for you. So I'm going to start here. Let me just share my screen. It always gets a little technically crazy here. I have a new computer too. Extra fun, right? Desktop. I think I just share my desktop and hopefully I'll be able to get to that screen. And Canva. So pardon that little thing. Now, here we go. Bear with me one little second here. I always feel like I'm going around like a corn maze trying to get to different things on my screen when I'm trying to share a screen. Anywho, so let's go. So I sent out the engagement season playbook today. This is your workbook, okay? So in the email you would have received, or it's in the Facebook group, Book More Celebrations VIPs. When you click on the link, it's going to take you to this Canva site. So you can just kind of thumb through it, or in your email, you can download the PDF. The first thing we're going to talk about is your business goals. What do you want to do in your business? What are your thoughts about where you want to go? Now, for some people, it's let's just get started. I really want to grow my business. I've only had a handful of bookings and I want more. But I want you to get more specific than that. Don't just think about your business goals, but super specific about what those goals are. For example, you say you want to book more weddings. You booked 2 this year. 2025 is coming up. Make your goals clear so then you can build in objectives of how you're going to obtain those goals. But let's just say for the first goal, you want to book 10 weddings for next year. Okay, maybe you're working a full-time job. You want to make sure that you have the time and the energy to dedicate to that. And don't forget that part of the Book More Celebrations way of doing things isn't just booking more weddings and making more money, but it's also avoiding burnout. Having time for yourself and for your loved ones is super important, and for your pets who are shaking in the background and probably on the verge of barking in a minute. Anywho, so maybe your first goal is that you want to book 10 weddings next year. 10 weddings with who? I want to dive a little deeper than that. So when I post the homework later today in the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you to identify 1 to 3 business goals. It's okay if you hone in on one right now, because on your own, you can do the 2, the second one, the third one, but really get specific about what you want. What do you want out of your own business? So I want for next year, I would like to work with 50 couples who want officiating services, ceremony services. And that could also be baby blessings. It could be memorials for families, etc. But I'm just going to hone in on wedding couples. And the reason I'm doing that is that's really our specialty. So I do get baby blessing requests sometimes, and I do get requests for doing memorials as well. And I like celebrating lives with families in all different ways. But if I was to put our advertising out there as we're your wedding officiant and we're the memorial experts that celebrate lives with joy and honoring and tradition, and we love babies and we want to do baby blessings for you, and we want to, do baptisms and namings with your children. And, if I'm just throwing everything out there, when you throw so much out into the world saying, here we are, we do everything. You're not specializing in anything. And when you are starting to grow, when you really want to grow and attract the couples you want to work with and the audience you want to work with, you have to be super specific. So I know that for next year, I would like to book 50 couples who want personalized ceremony services for their wedding. And then I dive even deeper than that. And we'll get a little bit more into that tomorrow. But being able to at least identify, start digging into what you want, what your business goals are. Another goal of ours is to increase our revenue. So even though this year will do probably, this past year, we've probably done about 50 ceremonies, right? I want to see the revenue grow also. So if I want the revenue to grow, by how much? I'd love to see it grow by 25% next year for those 50 couples. So 50 couples this year, 50 couples next year. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have to make some changes in our business if I want to see a difference. So I know that there are some invitation suite designers out there. There are makeup artists. There are hair designers. There are wedding planners. If you work with the same amount of couples year after year, how are you going to create more revenue? That comes in when you're laying your packages, which is something else we'll talk about in the next 3 days. So I need to come up with some creative ways for our own business that if we're going to work with the same amount of couples, am I attracting the more higher end? They're going to spend more money. Am I layering in different services for their ceremonies or photo booth offerings? We have some really cool new props that it was suggested by another entertainment pro that they be our premium set of props. I'll show you what I mean. So we got these really cool. These are called big hand props. Let me see. I'm not sure if you can see this or not while I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so it's big hand props. These are ginormous and they're expensive. They run about $25 to $50 each compared to a $5 or $10 prop. So when we're doing something like this, we might want to charge a premium on the photo booth end, maybe an extra $100. So we're going to book 25 photo booth events next year, and we did 25 or 30 this year, and we want to make more money. How are we going to do that? That's with add-ons. That's with either increasing our pricing or adding additional services so that we can increase our revenue. Bear with me 1 second while I get back to the share screen. Go on to objectives. So the marketing objectives, that's really breaking down how we're going to market our services to our clientele. So when you're marketing to your audience, how are you going to do it? How are you going to reach them? So when we're talking about marketing objectives, I want to be really clear about this. You need to know who your audience is. So as we're digging deep into how this is going to go, I want you to take a look at a few things. Okay, so let me go out of the screen really quick. And I want to share a different screen with you. I'm going to go into ChatGPT. ChatGPT, by the way. This is going to help you with your marketing objectives. I use ChatGPT all the time. If you look down this side of my screen, look at all that. It helped me with planning out a holiday party photo booth, Black Friday package ideas, Thanksgiving vendor tips. Some of the emails you got, some of the lists are generated from ChatGPT because I have great ideas, but then I want more. So if I have, let's say, 3 to 5 ideas that I want to share with people, I am going to try and expand that to 10 ideas or 20 that I can send out. So anywho, let's go in here. So let's talk about some of you out there. So let me see, I'm going to type in a few details here. So in ChatGPT here, I put Martha is a wedding planner. She wants to earn more money next year, but not take on any more couples. What are some marketing objectives that she can set for herself so she can earn 20% more revenue, but only take on 20 new events? So meaning she only wants to do 20 events a year. Let's take out the new part there and just tweak it a little bit. Now, it would be really helpful for me to tell ChatGPT what she earned last year, right? On average, she charged, let's say, $7,500 per event. Okay. And she wants to earn 20% more. So she wants to set marketing objectives for herself. Now, ChatGPT and other AI programs can be really helpful with this. That doesn't mean that when you hit the enter button, whatever comes up is what you should do. It really needs to speak to you, your business, where you want to go. So getting more specific along the way is super important. I love using AI for this reason, is you can tell it that you love what it's saying, and you can also say that it sucks sometimes. And you can tell ChatGPT, and they're not going to take it personally because there's nobody on the other end of it saying, oh my God, you hurt my feelings. Excuse me. We're going to hit enter here and see what it comes up with. So this is saying here, she might want to narrow a niche a little bit more to focus on luxury or premium weddings. She can update her website, her portfolio, and social media to highlight high-end weddings and emphasize her expertise in designing and managing events that deliver exceptional value. She can showcase testimonials from past luxury clients. Now, that's all a great idea, but if she's talking about she wants to earn 20% more, is the jump that she's making from the $7,500 to $9,000, is that enough to go to high-end weddings? Or would high-end planners go more towards, let's say, 20, 25,000 for their fee? That's something she'd need to research. She can also enhance her perceived value through premium offerings. So adding in different package levels, add-ons, RSVP management, top tiered vendor partnerships. Maybe they only have access to certain vendors if they work on that higher level with her. That's a whole other thing, though, when you're getting into your transparency as a planner, as a musician, DJ, whatever service you offer. If you're only offering access to certain vendors, we can have that whole conversation a different day. And, being transparent and being really offering your clients the best of the best at whatever service level you're at, I think always helps you out. And it speaks more to your services and helps you along the way. You can also revamp your pricing strategy. If you know that The essential planning, let's say, is if you're a wedding planner, 2 months prior to the wedding. That's all the essentials, 7,500. Comprehensive is full wedding planning. Now, ChatGPT, I don't think works in the wedding industry. So if you're jumping from essential planning to comprehensive and the price difference is $1,500, no way. Please don't do that to yourself. You're going to do so much more work when you plan for a year than you will for just 60 days. Now, there will be some people that say, but 60 days, I feel like I'm full planning. Stretch that out over a year and how many more meetings and how much more time and how many changes. Please don't make a leap like that of 1,500. So that's why I'm saying don't take ChatGPT's word for it all along the way. These are just suggestions, and you really have to tailor for what you're doing in your business. And then a luxury experience, 1,200. Again, between full service planning and luxury experiences where you are really curating vendors that are top tier, only a $3,000 difference doesn't scream to me as a consumer that that's a big enough price difference. But again, when you're revamping your pricing strategy, that's something that you need to look at. Leveraging strategic partnerships, etc. So just going through these, there's tons of suggestions by look at all this. So you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with your strategies, your objectives. Okay. And then if you don't like it, let me just hit the off button here. We're going to go all the way to the bottom here and tell them we don't like it. Just for practice here. Okay. You can either tell them that you like it, and you can copy it if you love it. Just copy it and you can paste it into a Google Drive or whatever Word or whatever way you like to save your stuff. Okay. If you don't like it, hit bad. And then I'll say, tell us more. Oh, you can click one of these. You don't like the style. Sometimes when I'm writing an email and I want it to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, I'll ask it to make it fun and light. And there are certain words I don't like using along the way. You know, I wanted to say professionals or pros or vice versa. And I ask it to change that and it doesn't actually follow instructions. So I might click on that and it'll regenerate for me. Okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and change that. I don't know if I can change it back. Oops. Sorry. Sorry if I offended you, ChatGPT. Anyhow, so it's all good though, right? So then you can dive deeper into this. So when we go back to our Canva marketing objectives, you're going to fill this in. Okay, and I will be more specific in the homework that I post on Facebook. So those of you who are coming along with me um, on a replay, that you know exactly what to do in the marketing objectives as well. So now you might be thinking, I'm a wedding planner. I just started, or, you know, I'm just starting out in hair and makeup outside of a salon. Now, what do I do? I really don't know who my ideal couples are. It's great if you do. If you're there already and you want and you know your niche, you know who you want to target, that's amazing. That's something that you will be so fast at filling out this information. So what's your name and what's your wedding specialty? And then I want you to tell me about you. What is your background? Who are your dream clients? What do they look like? What are they spending? What do they want? What are their challenges? The challenges are really the key here. So for instance, when we work with clients who have photo booth experiences at their wedding, they might have had experiences with other photo booths where the props were beat up and kind of crappy. The person didn't show up on time. Um, the printouts weren't as expected. And that happens occasionally that we come across that. We want to reach the people though with the services and pricing and the packaging that we offer. We want to offer services to people who want the high quality photos. So we convey that in our messaging, that we have the high quality professional lighting. The backdrops are really beautiful. I'm not going to show up with wrinkly backdrops. We don't say that in our messaging, but in the photos and the other verbiage that we use in our marketing, we're clear about the quality of what we do. So we're not going to be your $400 Groupon rental of a photo booth that just shows up, takes it out of the box, and has a seat and goes, have a good time. That's not us. We're going to get involved with your guests, and we're going to make sure that they're having a good time and that you're having a good time, and that if you're the couple, you're getting in your own photo booth. So we want to convey that. These people that are hiring us, they want to have an amazing experience. So you can put the goals or you can put the challenges of your target couple down at the bottom here. Okay. Like, what do they want? Be really clear. What do your clients want? Who are they? What do they want? This is going to help you in your marketing. When you are putting together your game plan on how you're going to deliver your message to your ideal clients, having a clear picture of who you are, what your specialty is, what your background is. And by the way, what your background is really about your clients and who you want to reach. So if I'm going to tell people that I am a wedding business mentor and coach, right? All of my friends here, right? If I'm going to tell you all about that. I have other background information that I can share with you, but what you probably want to know is that I've been in the same seat that you are in right now, where I have struggled. I want more weddings. I want to know how to do it. And I always want more weddings and I always want to improve our business, but I don't want to be carrying photo booths around forever either, right? So I want to generate that revenue. I'm going to do lots of officiating of weddings and other ceremonies, but I'm going to send clear messages out and have the next few years be absolutely killer and do an amazing job in the wedding industry right here in our area, right? But if I start talking to people about, well, and the wedding business mentorship and coaching, that, some people might care that I have a master's degree from Fairleigh Dickinson University and that I used to manage fan clubs for bands. And I've done online marketing for Sebastian Bach. I did had an official fan club for him. He was the lead singer of Skid Row. And, I did online street team stuff for Bon Jovi years ago and did so much stuff, having that master's degree, and I have a bachelor's of science in music therapy from SUNY New Paltz. Do you really care about that stuff? I mean, some of it might be interesting. I love hearing the words Bon Jovi, by the way, still to this day. I'll tell you a story about dancing with John on stage in Ireland one of these days, but I don't want to take your time now. But I'm just saying, like, that's really cool stuff, but it's not the shit you want to hear about, right? I want you to tell me about you, but focus on the stuff that your clients really want to hear. So when I'm talking about um, our business and officiating on our website that's dedicated to couples and officiating weddings, my messaging is all about what the clients want to hear and what we'll do for them and what problems we solve. So I try and make that clear. And you can check out revzaro.com, REVZARO.com to take a look at that page. And then for photo booth, Zaro's photo booth, ZAROS PHOTOBOOTH.com. Anyway, I will not win any spelling bees, by the way. That was tough, that last one, to just spell it out. But I'll make sure that the links are in the group as well, so you guys can check that out. So filling out the ideal couple profile, super important. Okay, so that'll help you with targeting your clients. Let's walk through a little bit more of the workbook, and then we're going to end for today because tomorrow is a big day. Getting a lot of stuff done tomorrow too, and really honing in on how you can make that plan for your targeting your clients. And then on the, excuse me, on the third day, making sure that you have a plan going forward. Hold on, let me just take a quick sip of my coffee. Now, the next few days are going to be easy breezy. If you show up live, you have your chance to win prizes. You do your homework and see how involved people are in the Facebook group, and really want to convey to you that the more work you put in, the more you're going to get out of it, including, having some special bonuses that I'm going to offer to folks throughout this next 3 days. So as much as you can get done here, better for you and your business. Get it done quickly if you can. Don't overthink it. Everything about this can be changed. You start working on it, you post it in the group and tell me about you, your dream clients, your target couples challenges, or what they want. Posting this in the group. Alrighty. Tomorrow we'll get a little bit more into this. I want to just go over, just to prep you for tomorrow, what your strengths are already as a company, what your challenges are, what kind of opportunities your company already has, and the threats, like what could get in the way. And to give you some examples, the strengths for officiating on our end of things is we're already established, right? The weaknesses are I could do a bit better with marketing, consistent marketing. The opportunities we have is we have tons of opportunities for free marketing on social media. Could use YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. TikTok's been pretty good for us so far. We don't have a ton of followers, but when I post, we're getting some decent views on some of our videos. The threats are things like with the officiating side of things, the threats are that everybody and their mother and their brother and their sister and their cousins, friends, uncles, nephews, babies, godfather, 25 bucks can officiate a wedding in New York State. Drives me crazy because they don't know what they're doing. You know, some of them are going to follow through and know what they're doing, but that's a threat to us. That hurt our business last year. It was unexpected, but we bounced back and we are still going because we have good foundation to our business. I'm going to tell you that over the next 3 days, you're not going to solve everything. That's okay. You're going to work on a couple of things. You're going to get a plan in place to continue working. And then we'll have the opportunity to work together going forward as well. And I'll talk more about that in a couple of days. But don't feel like you're alone. You always have the free Facebook group too. And I want to help you through stuff. Like this is just some of the nuts and bolts of what you need to lay out to stand out in your business as a wedding professional. And I'd love to, if you're watching the replay, be sure to comment in the Facebook group or send me an email, send me a message. I would love to hear from you if you're struggling with any of this stuff. But I prefer the Facebook group because I bet you're not the only person that's going to struggle trying to figure some of this out. And that's okay. But again, this screen situational assessment sounds so fancy. That's for tomorrow. But I just want to go over a little bit of your workbook with you so you have an idea of what's coming up. Your couple's dream experience. We're going to talk about that a bit. So ignore the graph over to the right. That's kind of just a general kind of thing. But that's kind of like a balance out of different things for a variety of different kinds of events. But what's important to your couples? What part of the experience are you going to provide in your niche? So this is more an overview of a wedding experience on its own. Like ambiance is important, the food's important, the comfort, etc. But where are you going to focus? This is way too balanced out. What's your focus? What's your wheel going to look like? And how are you going to help out your clients? I think in the future, I should make this look more like an engagement ring. What do you think? This is kind of one of those general images. Blah. Future workbook note. By the way, I'm not the person that is going to just show up here and be all, hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to class today. We'll be silly and more interactive, and hopefully have lots of you showing up over the next couple of days. And at the end of each talk, we're going to have time for Q&A. So the next one, this is more your business overview. So when we get through everything else, you're going to be able to talk about your business a little bit differently and have an overview that you can present to potential couples on your website and your messaging, et cetera. But having a clear overview of your business, maybe you do that in a form of a mission statement without saying it's your mission statement on your website, but just knowing that there's clarity there in your messaging. By the way, this is one of my favorite weddings I've done. This is at Red Maple Vineyard in New York. So that gorgeous valley, the Hudson Valley in the back, and this amazing couple. That's me at the front officiating a wedding. And look at the groom. And the bride is looking out at the audience. They're just smiling. And I think at that time I was talking about the little dog he has in his arms. I just love that stuff. Like my couples know that I am a dog lover. Oh my gosh. If you're going to have a dog at your wedding, God bless you. I love you. And please bring them on. And I want to hold them and I want to pet them and have that connection with my couples. We'll go through a little competitive analysis. We're going to do this super briefly, though. So we don't have time in 3 days to go through everything in your lives and everything in your wedding business, but it's just something to consider for future. Okay. Marketing strategy. Where are you going to do your marketing? What are you going to market? What's the price? What kind of promotions are you going to offer? How are you going to do that? Talk more about that. What's your investment going to be? What's that going to look like? And how are you going to design it for profit? And then we're going to make a plan. So this is something I wanted to talk about super briefly today, but see this little red part here? I'm going to change that to pink for the next version of this. But on Sundays, I do not open my laptop. I really, really try. If I know that I have to do that on a Sunday because of an urgent situation or some huge event is coming up that we're working on and I just have to knock out a couple of things, then I might make Saturday the day that I don't open my laptop. I started doing that a few months ago because, again, that third component, it's not a third component avoiding burnout. It's written out that way, but it's super important in my life. And I have to tell you, when I started keeping that computer closed on Sundays, my life changed. And that might sound hokey pokey, but it's so true. I was opening my computer every day and trying to get some work done. And then my kids were coming in the room. I have twin 13-year-old boys, and they're amazing. And I have a husband, his name is Joe, and I have a dog, and everybody wanted at me. And I'm helping my mom. My dad passed away a little over a year ago, and go back and forth to her house a few times a week. And I just wasn't getting any rest time. So on Sundays, I thought, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I want to be truly present. Whether that's on our love seat, cuddled up with the dog, or holding my husband's hand, and we're watching some Netflix show like, oh gosh, what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Ah, it's going to come to me as soon as I hang up today, but it's a really cool show. I'm going to have to bring it up in a second because it's going to drive me freaking nuts. Anyway, so really, really, really good show on Netflix. Oh my God, what is the name of it? I don't want to take too much time with this, but it is distracting me. But anyway, either that or if we're going to go see a movie with the kids, or maybe Joe and I are having a date night, or maybe mom and I are having a day that's just for us. Or maybe I just go out on my own, or I go see friends. Lincoln Lawyer, that's it. Watched the last episode of season 3 with my husband and said, when's the next episode? And he said, that's it for right now. They're not going to be back for a while. I said, oh my gosh. And now I am on season 3, episode 1 in less than a week or two. Kind of guilty of binging when I'm not on my computer. Anyway, so I like to carve out time that is just for my kids, my family, myself, etc. If you're not doing that, you're going to burn out. There are people that do that consistently, but I've also seen them not be able to expend their energy on the other days where they can truly be present in their businesses either, where they're running multiple businesses, they're trying to help everybody, they're on every committee, etc. But then they have no time for themselves whatsoever or for their loved ones. And it shows in the work they do too. The work starts to decline. So having some refreshing time, whether it's going to church, temple, whether it's just Netflix and chilling with your family or on your own or going to the movies or roller skating, whatever you like to do, go to the beach, go skiing, carve out the time. So we're going to talk about that and we're going to make sure your time is blocked really nicely so that you have a good plan going forward for the next couple of weeks. And then that's just my little contact page at the end. So make sure you print out your workbook or download it for yourself so that you can work on it. There are some programs out there like, I think it's Kajabi. I'm pretty sure that that's free and you can hop on there. Let's see. We have a little note here. Okay, great. So in the chat. So when you're watching this, go into the Facebook group and let me know if you have questions. Just for the homework, get through that first couple of pages, see what you can focus on, your marketing goals, your objectives, and start thinking about what you want to do, where you want to go with your business for next year. And I will meet you back here tomorrow and we'll kick that off with reviewing a little bit of the homework, how that went, and I look forward to seeing you then.